Hey everybody, it's Tiffany Billions. Hope you guys are joining my live. I have a very important topic to talk about today, um, and I'm gonna wait for some more people to join. But have you guys saw the news article on came out of Hollywood, North California? There you go. There is a political campaign financier by the name of Ed Buck, and Ed has actually he's a heavy hitter. He's actually contributed to um, several campaigns. One of them being the Hillary Clinton campaign, and we have a special guest joining us today, Terrell. Um, and I appreciate everybody for joining me. This is a very important topic. So, we have a political heavy hitter out of North Hollywood, California, and he started off as an actor and a model in the 80s. Well, now Ed is he is a political campaign financier. He has financed several political campaigns, and most recently, he's been in the news because he there within the last 2 years there have been two African American men that have come up dead in his home. If you guys are familiar with that story, just hit the like button. Okay, Ruben, you saw it, yeah. And so the men have apparently died of drug overdoses, and um, and so they've died of overdoses, and there has been very little police investigation, um, due to the fact that he is politically connected. He's also tied in with the royal family as well as a lot of heavy hitters in California. I want you guys to meet Terrell. I have Terrell here. Um, and Terrell is um, the only survivor that has that actually spent time with Ed Buckley and came out alive. He came out, with his life, and so to have we're blessed to have Terrell on to speak of his experiences. I want us to all be cognizant of, just be cognizant, be kind. If I see any, um, you know,
Hello.
remarks that are ugly, then I'll go ahead and I'll block that person, because we definitely want to hear what Terrell has to say. Yes, he is a brave young man. Yes.
Thank you.
Um, Terrell, if you'll just start off by telling us how you met Ed Buckley and go from there.
Well, I met Ed Buck back in May of 2018. I had recently just relocated to California trying to start something new. Um, I met Ed Buck on a gay male site, Adam for Adam. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but it's a
Adam
sex
for Adam.
site.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And this
We
was
actually
what
met on
year?
there 2018, the spring
Okay.
of 2018.
Okay.
So we had conversated, we had exchanged numbers, and we plan on meeting up and hanging out, getting to know each other. Um, we met. It was probably like I probably met him in April or April, May. No, the first time I met Buck was in April. We met
Okay.
the first time. It was all cool. It was like meeting somebody for the first time and trying to get to know them. He was really a warm spirit. He was nice. He was actually someone that I wanted to encounter or try to get to know some more or get on a better level with for the
Mhm.
first time. But I mean, people can fool you. I don't know
Right.
really. Um, we just hung out. We smoked a little crystal meth. We talked. We talked about his fetishes and what the things that he liked to do, what he was interested in. He was interested in. He's mostly interested in bulging prints, like the male's endowment area, whatever their private areas. He's not really
Okay,
into
and
having
I'm gonna
sex
I'm
with
gonna
them.
stop you there because I want everybody to know that during this broadcast, parental advisory is, parental discretion is advised. We're gonna touch on some topics during this broadcast that I normally don't touch on, but this is very important to me. So I wanted to allow Terrell to get his story out there. But go ahead, Terrell.
So we met. we were gonna hang out. He was gonna pay me $250 to $300 for our encounter. We hung out that night. It was cool. Everything went fine and dandy like a normal day or a normal night or whatever. Okay. After that, I left. I collected my funds. I left. The second time I met Buck, we did this. It was the same, pretty much the same thing, but we actually maybe had messed around just a little bit. We smoked Tina.
So let
That's
me
when he
stop you. When you say messed around, you mean that you guys actually had had sexual relations, correct?
more like oral
Okay.
fixation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we did oral fixation and smoked Tina and sat around, talked and discussed things. And that's when Buck introduced the pointing system.
Okay, hold on one
Pointing is
second. Hold on, let me stop you because I want to clarify for other people who don't know, and also for myself. When you say smoke Tina, what is that? What's Tina?
Tina is crystal meth,
Okay.
the slang word for crystal meth.
Okay.
Pointing is
Okay.
injection. Slam, and pointing are the same thing. It's injecting
Okay.
of crystal meth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's when he introduced crystal meth, or the injecting part.
Okay.
I agreed to it. I allowed him to inject me with crystal meth. The first time, I think I was a little too high because instead of it going the way he wanted it to go, it went totally north. I
Okay.
wigged out.
Okay. Okay. Stop. You allow him to inject you with crystal meth. Tell me why you allow him to do that, and what were the incentives for you other than getting high, and did he have any rules regarding that?
Okay, when he introduced when he introduced pointing, he introduced it as he is the only one. His main words was, "I am the only one that can administrate," which is, "I am the only one that can take this needle and stick it into your arm. You are not allowed to." I don't. He didn't care if I was a phlebotomist or if I knew what I was doing or if I knew how to do it. It's the fact that you are in his home, and if anything would happen, it would fall back on him. So he would take the responsibility of saying, "I am the only one that can administrate. He's the only one that can inject you with the drug." I wasn't able to do it for myself because it's his house. Again, he's the only one that can administrate.
And that was
So
his rule. That was his rule.
that that was his rule.
Okay.
So when when he injected me with the meth, my body went into shivers. My lips was shivering, they were tingling. My head felt like it was gonna explode. I don't know. I just got real angry. I wigged out. I we got into a altercation, and he proceeded to put me out of his home.
Okay.
But
So let's go ahead. Go ahead.
he we exchanged our okay. I don't know. We
Well,
exchanged money. He exchanged me. When I was to the point where I was too high. I was so high I couldn't control anything that was happening. I was angry. I became angry and irate. So we end up arguing and fussing and fighting, and it was just too loud. It was disturbing his neighbors. So he decided to remove me from the situation, put me out.
okay.
We exchanged what was supposed to be exchanged, which was the money, and I left. I didn't encounter. I really didn't talk to Buck. I went back to Texas. He paid for my ticket to Texas, and he paid for my ticket to Minnesota for Mother's Day, and he paid my ticket back to California. Before I probably flew around the world probably 3-4 times before I end up meeting up with Buck again. The last time I end up meeting with Buck, I I say I was stupid, but I was blinded at the same time. I was in a situation that he was the only one that was able to help me financially and get me out of that situation. So I took it upon myself and went back to a situation that I know I shouldn't have been in.
Were you
But
homeless? Were you homeless?
I was homeless. I was living couch to couch, house to house. I would literally sit at McDonald's all day, connect to the Wi-Fi so that I wouldn't be outside. And it was like I mean, it wasn't as much as illegal because we weren't really having. It wasn't more of it wasn't prostitution really. It was I don't know. It was just the fact that he had what I needed and I needed it, and
Mhm.
that's what I was looking for. I wasn't looking at the fact that he this ain't something I should be doing or whatever.
Okay.
Um,
So let me stop you right there. I'm going to catch some people up that just came in. We're
I'm
talking
sorry, y'all.
about, go ahead.
I'm sorry, y'all. It just brings back memories. I don't like talking
Uh,
about it, but it's okay.
that's okay. I understand. Trust me. So we're talking about Ed Buck. He's a political contributor to a lot of campaigns. In 2013, I believe, contributed $53,000 to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Here recently, he's been in the news because within the last 2 years, he's had two African American men come up dead at his home. And those deaths have been the result of drug overdoses. And we're speaking with Terrell, who is the lone survivor of being, a victim or being around Ed Buck, who was very powerful and has actually ties and connections with the royal family. And he's out of North Hollywood, California. So we're just getting the story from Terrell as to what happened and how he survived. And Terrell has explained to us that he was in dire straits financially and he needed assistance, and Buck could actually help him. Go ahead, Terrell.
So okay,
If
with
you'll
me and
start at the point where you said that you would go to McDonald's and use the Wi-Fi and you were homeless and he was the only one that could help you.
okay, he was the only one that was willing to help me financially, and it
Okay.
wasn't really nothing too serious that I had to do to get the money. So I went back for the third time. Now this third time was the icing on the cake. What I say? What should I say? Um, I got over there. We chilled, but it was more of get right into the situation, which was getting me high. I don't know if it's a fetish or something that he likes or something that turns him on about getting getting a black man high off of drugs and watching them see their reaction and how they act to it. But it's more of how much drugs you can take, how much your body can handle, and that's how the more drugs you can take, the more money you will receive.
Oh,
Um,
wow. So he was giving you a certain amount of drugs, and then if you could take more, he would promise to pay you more money.
yes. See,
Wow.
it like okay, in this situation, I was get like he gave me some Gatorade. I believe it was Gatorade, but it had like I believe it's GHB.
Okay.
Um, GHB is the date rape.
Right. Date rape
He gave
drug.
he gave me Gatorade with GHB in it. Um, being not knowing nothing of the GHB in the drink, I drank a lot of the Gatorade, and that put me onto a stage of conscious, but not really able to be aware of what was going on or control my own self.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know.
So I saw a picture on the Daily Mail where you were laying on a mattress. It looked like you were laying on a mattress and he was standing over you in
That's the
white long
same
john.
mattress that they found Gamel Moore laying on when they
And
found his body.
right, and Gamel Moore is dead. He's deceased. He's
Yes,
one of the black men that did not make it out of Buck's home
he was
alive.
the
Okay.
first black man that was killed by Ed Buck. Um,
So how did
okay,
that make you feel knowing that you survived? How do you?
first, actually, I didn't know about the Gamel Moore situation until right before the third encounter. Um, he sent me a ticket to go to Minnesota from Dallas to Minnesota to see my mother for Mother's Day. And when I clicked the ticket, I accidentally clicked his name, and His name is highlighted. I clicked Ed Buck and Google, my phone Google, it pulls up Google search and it pulled up Ed Buck. And when I seen it, it said black male escort found dead in Democrat Republican home. I started crying, tears just my body it was so unbelievable. Like my body just it just started I just started crying, instantly started crying. I called my mom. I'm like, Mom, this is what I called you about. This is what happened to me. I'm like, Mom, I just now read this story. And it had me really in an emotional distraught because I really felt like I was gonna either lose my life or something bad was gonna happen. And when I read the story, it was like it hit home so hard because Gamel Moore is what, 28 now, 29.
Would
At the
have
time,
been.
he was 27.
Hmm.
And he was living in Spring, Texas. I came from Dallas, Texas to California, and we pretty much had the same background. How we were both struggling. We were homeless, house hopping, going through situations, and it just related. It just hit me so hard that I didn't understand it. I don't know.
So do you think that he's picking a certain type of a black man that maybe having a hard time, maybe down on his luck, so that he can
This
take
man is
advantage
a
of it?
profiler. He
Okay,
profiles black men. It doesn't
okay.
matter how old you are. If he sees a weakness in you, he goes for that weakness, and that's what gets him. He's seen the fact that I was homeless. I was in California by myself. I had no family out there. I was hard on money. I needed money, and I was an addict. I've been an addict. So he used that. He got into that, and he used drugs as a way to get me to do or get me the way he wanted me.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm kind of really like fucked up right now. So
It's okay. It's okay. Listen, just take your time. We appreciate you for even telling your story, because we can read about this all day. But to actually speak to someone who's
but
actually
it's
gone
different
through
when
it.
it actually comes from somebody's person.
Right,
Um.
right.
Okay.
So,
I was
so
kind of I was nervous. I was a little paranoid about going back to his house, but I went. Okay, I went there. We sat, we chilled, we smoked, we talked. Um, when I became woozy, he took my phone. He actually was able to get my phone from me because he kept saying, put my phone, don't take pictures. He didn't want pictures or whatever. He didn't want me to record. He didn't want me to have my phone. He literally took my phone and put my phone on the table. So I was really laying on the mattress, just watching the television and watching him walk past or do whatever he was doing. Um, he then told me I wasn't high enough for him, or I wasn't to his satisfaction of being high. So he said, I'm
so
going to give you a point. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you a point because you're not high enough for me. What do you mean I'm not high enough for you? He he injected me with crystal meth, but this time it was crystal meth, and it was the GHB drug. The reason how I know GHB warms up your body when it's in when you inject it, when whatever you do with it, if you take it liquid, it warms up your body. My body warmed up. It was just weird, and I don't know.
you knew it was different.
I knew I was different. It was to the point where my head felt like it was literally finna pop off my body, and I felt literally the spirit of death. I felt the death come onto my body to the point where I was in there and I was out of there, where I kept fading in and fading out. But all I kept doing was praying. I ended up getting up and getting my phone. I actually called my mom and I talked to my mom and I told her, I was like, Mom, I think I'm finna die. My mom's like, she's like, baby, call the police right now. I'm like, Mom, I can't call the police. I'll be stuck in California. I have no way home. I don't want to be stuck out here. So
Hmm.
it was like 2 hours. It took 2 hours. I literally prayed and laid on the bed for like 2 hours praying to God that I would never do this again. I would never come back over here. Like, just let me make it through this because I don't know what's going on and I don't want to die right here. Um, my, so within, yeah, I gained consciousness probably later on, like 2 hours later. I got up, I got dressed. I told him I was going on a walk just to clear my mind, get my mind together. Um, he gave me $60 and was like, go on the what is it, the stroll or whatever you want to call the Hollywood. Go on Hollywood because I'm on Hollywood Boulevard. He was like, go on Hollywood Boulevard and go to a bar and have some drinks and have a good time. I'm like, okay, whatever. I took the money. I went straight to the tobacco shop, got me a switchblade, bought me a taser, and pretty much loaded up on ammunition to get this bitch if something was going to happen, if he was going to try something when I went back to his house. And when I left his house, there's this man, I don't know, his name's Steven. He's in some of the pictures online. If you see the Gamel Moore, when they're bringing Gamel Moore's body out, this is his neighbor. It's like his really close friend. The man actually called in the process of one of our encounters and talked to Ed Buck and was like, I'm just calling to make sure you're eating fruits and drinking lots of fluids. He knows what Ed Bucks does, so he knows what goes on in this man's home. And like I feel that he's actually accountable. He could be held accountable in this situation, like he has something to do with this situation, or he has something to do that helps Ed Buck.
Or perhaps he's aiding and abetting. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, there's a closet, and like if you go back to my video where I'm on, like recording everything, the hall closet where the blue light is, that closet right there, right in the crack of the door, it's actually I don't know, you can lock it from the inside of the closet and you can't unlock it from the outside, if you know what I'm saying. Like it's a passageway to another area. Okay.
So you think that the neighbor possibly has come through that passageway?
I believe he has access to Ed Buck's, to that stage apartment, because that's not his apartment. That is a playhouse. That's a place where he takes his victims to play.
That is not where he lives.
That is not where he lives. Ed Buck owns a dog, a golden retriever at that. And he lives in a big house on Kings Drive. That apartment is actually rented. And how you would tell it's not really his apartment, because everything that's in his room is either the clothes that we wear, the long johns, the white beaters, white t-shirts, underwear. That's everything that's in his closet. There's no toothbrush and hygiene stuff, like there's not that. In his refrigerator, how you would have food and freezer, meat, and this, that, and the third, you have Hot Pockets and little burritos, like snack food. You have snack food in here. There's nothing in here that will give you the impression of this is your home, this is where you live. No, this is where you set up, stay. This is where you take your dates and your clients and you play at. This is where you do your dirty work at.
Right. Right. So this last time, which was the third time, a lot of people are going to want to know why you kept going back, right?
The reason why I went back was because I was in a situation, I needed a way to get through my situation. I get a Social Security check, but at the time, Social Security was withholding my check because a whole situation, I had to get to Dallas in order to fix the situation. And I couldn't get back to Dallas because I didn't have the money. So Ed Buck came in the picture because he was financially stable. He was able to help me financially, put the money in my pocket, and help me do what I need to do make the moves that I had to make to survive in California. As everyone knows, California is expensive.
Yes.
And
So right now, if you'll tell us how did you end up getting away? He told you to go get a drink. You went and he told me to go
on the strip and have a good time. When I left Ed Buck's house, I have paranoid schizophrenic, so I always watch my surroundings. But when I left, I walked up the street. The same man, Steven, or whoever he is, he came out the building. He crossed the street and walked up the street the same way I was going. So I stopped at the corner. He crossed over and walked down. When I see him walk, I turned and walked down the street. I try to like do a, reroute my area to watch my surroundings. So so if somebody was following me, I would know it. I could catch them in the act. So I took the long way to the store. this man still seemed to follow me, seemed to end up in the park next to the store, sitting in the little park bench. They have park benches out there in California, and it's just benches. So he was sitting sitting on the bench when I came out the store. So
And
I
this
go
is
back and
Steven. This is Steven, the neighbor.
yeah, the man that's in all his pictures, in every
Okay.
video picture that has anything with a body coming out of Ed Buck's house, this man is on the side of him. It's not a coincidence that he's always there when something like this happens.
Right.
Um, so I watched this man follow me. I knew I wasn't tripping. Even though I do deal with the paranoid schizophrenic, I'm not stupid. I have the gift of discernment. So I know when there's danger or when I'm in danger, my intuition will tell me. And so I came out the store and I'm like, well, I say out loud, I'm like, bitches out here following people, they might want to be careful because I'm not in the mood, and how I feel, I can take somebody's life and not give a fuck. So the man ended up getting up, he left. He was walking before me. These apartments, we got to I got to Ed Buck's apartments. The man went through the garage. I called Ed Buck and I said, I'm outside. He said, are you gonna come up? I said, yeah. I go upstairs. We talk. He said he had somebody coming over. Never in any time have I met Ed Buck, have I ever encountered another escort, whoever, another client, and me in the same room in his house. I've never been in his house with another person. It's always been me and Ed Buck. Mm-hmm. So when he said that, it made me uneasy. It put me in a way where it's like, what's going on? What's next? What's gonna happen? That's how I'm thinking. So, he's like, I'm gonna give you this. He was like, you should go to Las Vegas. He wanted me to go to Las Vegas. And he wanted me to go hang out in Las Vegas for the weekend until he was ready to pay for my tickets to go back to Minnesota. So I agreed. I was like, okay, I'll just go to Vegas. Whatever. But as we were talking and we exchanged money, I was going to walk out the door. The boy was coming in the door. His name is Carlos. Yeah, his name is Carlos. What is his name? Carlos Sinclair. Mm-hmm. And the reason I know, because I can tell from pictures and physical appearance, I've seen this boy before. So I said, we're friends on Facebook. First thing I said to him, I said, I know you. We're friends on Facebook. He said, no, we're not. I go to my phone, I pull him up. I said, this you, right? He said, yeah. I said, we're friends on Facebook. He said, I don't know you. I walked out. I left Ed Buck's house. I got in a Uber. The Uber was supposed to take me to the train station. I got to the train station. When I got to the train station, I was walking. I was walking towards the train station, and this gay boy walked up on the side of me. And he just walked with me. He followed me down the steps. I get down the stairs. This boy and his girlfriend, this boy was talking to his girlfriend, but he was like, he just said it. He was like, be careful. They're going to jump you when you get down there. I'm like, huh? What is he talking about? He said, just be careful. They're going to jump you when you get down there. So I get down there, and it's just weird. It's like a gay boy standing over here. It's like another boy over here, and they're both on their phone. So I walk, and I try to stay close to the police officers. Like, it was the security guards that be in the train station. I try to stay close to them, but not make it aware that I'm noticing shit.
Right.
The police officer ended up going somewhere, and I was supposed to go get on the train, but I was so scared. I was so paranoid. I was nervous. Like, I didn't know. I was still high, so I was trying to figure out, like, was this boy telling me the truth? What's going on? What's really gonna happen? What's gonna happen? So I had my blade or whatever, had everything out, but I decided to go back upstairs. I went back upstairs. I was trying to catch a cab, but I ended up walking to the pizza park. And as I'm walking to the same boy that was walking on the side of me to the train station, he's on the other side of the street, walking up the street. So I stop at the alley, and I stop at the alley, and I turn around. And I just sit down, and I'm talking to a homeless man, just asking him questions, trying to blow the situation over to see what the boy's gonna do. The boy literally stands at the end of the alley on the other side of the street and just stands there looking at me. So I get up.
You believe, and sorry, I apologize for interrupting you. So you believe that Ed Buck sent these people to watch you and to beat you up?
I believe in the process of me going to the store, Ed Buck had set something else up.
Okay.
Because the boy
Gotcha.
was on his way over there, and then he had my Uber ready for me to go. My Uber was he knew I was supposed to be going to the airport. He Ubered me to the train station. So obviously, you know what you were setting. It was something was
Gotcha.
suspicious about the whole situation. So, in the fact of me making it back to the house within minutes of me getting there, there's this boy knocking on the door, and then I get in an Uber, and the Uber is directing me straight to this certain train station. I get to this train station, and there's gay people, and it's like they're actually showing me that they're here for me. Like they're actually, you know, following me. There's actually like I'm
Right.
not stupid. It's not just a coincidence. We're walking down the same way, and I stop, you stop. We all just standing here looking at each other. It's not a coincidence, not at all.
Right.
So then I
Right.
walk back. I walk back up the street, up Hollywood Boulevard, and I go to the pizza. I stand in front of the pizza place because it's a lot of people, and if anything happens, I have surrounding. There's people around me that can see and knows what's going on. So I'm just standing there. The boy literally walks and he's sitting at the bus stop across the street, just sitting there. I call the police. I am not doing this. I can't do this. I have schizophrenia. So I call the police. And I call the police and I ask them, I tell them I need an officer because someone's following me or whatever. I'm being harassed. The officers come. When they come, they talk to me. They ask me questions. And I explain to them my situation or what's going on. And that I was just trying to get to the airport and I really just need a cab to get to the airport. They flag a cab down. I get in the cab. Um, I get in the cab, and the cab driver is taking me to my destination. But there's a black car and there's a white car. The black car is probably like 2, 3 cars behind me, and the whole time on the highway until we exited, them 2 cars was with me.
Okay. So
So
he's
when
even
we
having you followed in the car, and
yeah,
while you're okay. All right.
even
Um.
like to the point where I was telling the cab driver like, could you take a different route? Could you go this way? Could you do that? I was asking him like to make different routes because I know I'm not tripping. There's no reason this car is still behind me and we're doing all this. But anyways, long story short, I get to the airport and I call Ed Buck and I'm like, I'm at the airport. Can you pay for my ticket to go home? The deal was I come to California for the weekend and you send me back home. The same way you got me here is the same way you're gonna get me home. He said, I already decided on you going to Las Vegas. I said, what's the point of me going to Las Vegas? I have nowhere to stay. Why would I go to Las Vegas and I have a home in Minnesota? So we pretty much argued and bickered and fought back and forth on the phone, probably like 3 hours. I argued with him for literally 3 hours to pay for my ticket. My ticket was for a plane to leave at 6:30 in the morning. Ed
Wow.
Buck he didn't pay for my ticket until 5:30. I sat on the phone. He played this game where his credit cards wouldn't work. He played the game to the point where putting the boy on the phone with me. I was talking to the boy. The boy started answering the phone. Ed Buck stopped answering the phone. The boy was answering.
Carlos.
So I was
Carlos is
talking,
the boy.
yeah. So I was talking to the boy. You don't have to call me back. Um, I was talking to the boy, and I'm like, you know what? This don't make no sense. Put Ed on the phone. I want to talk to Ed. Ed is the one who got me here. Ed is the one who's going to get me home. So then I end up telling Ed Buck. In the process, my brothers was coming from Minnesota to California they were doing their little vacation on the 25th, which was a couple days away. So I informed him. I said, Ed Buck, now you're gonna have 6 of me here in a couple days. Either you can pay for my ticket now, or when they get here, you can just pay for it when they get here.
Okay. So
Ed Buck, he was
that's
like,
how he ended up paying for your ticket.
that's why he ended up paying for my ticket. I
Okay, because he
already
didn't want no
informed him.
problem.
He didn't want, like, I already told him I don't care about going to jail. That jail shit don't bother me. If it came down to it and I need to get home, you're gonna get me home because you got me here. So
Did you ever ask Ed if he was responsible for the death of Mr. Moore?
I I asked Ed directly. I said, so did you kill him? Like, did you kill him the way you were trying to kill me? I
Right.
don't know what you're talking about. He'll change the subject. He'll move on. He wouldn't answer no question about anything that happened to Gamel Moore. I would harass him about the situation because I really want to know. I'm bold. I don't care.
Mhm.
I don't care how you feel. I'm going to ask a question. If I have a question, I'm going to ask it. And if I feel some way, I'm really going to ask it. And I feel like he did. I personally feel the reason why I say I personally feel because the things that he said, he is the only one that can administrate. He's the only one
Hmm.
that can inject you with the drug. And the fact that they found this boy in his house, and so-called I guess he says that he left the boy in his house. Ed Buck doesn't leave no one in that house. No one is he doesn't leave that house alone with you in it. He might step outside for maybe a hot second, but maybe that's about it. He's not leaving anyone in the house. So when all the things that he said to me and how he said it, it all put the picture on it. He killed this
I
boy.
got it.
He injected this
So,
boy
so
with
I
this drug.
actually saw the video of them rolling Mr. Moore's body out of Ed Buck's apartment. So I saw they had draped his entire body in a white sheet, and they rolled him out of the apartment. And it's very macabre, very ghastly, if you ask me. The way that the events are unfolding, and the events have unfolded. And I know that right now they're saying that Ed Buck is under investigation, but do you
They're not
feel like
investigating that man.
you
I
said
feel like
what?
they're not invest. I feel like he's not being investigated because he's a Caucasian man with money, and that he's a political figure that is in the world, and he has rank and he has pull in this world. So I don't think they're gonna prosecute. I actually think he's gonna get away with it. I actually think he's gonna walk on this one too, because the second man wasn't, from what his roommate said, he out of 3 years they was roommates, he never seen this man pick up a drug a day in his life. So for a man that doesn't do drugs to overdose on drugs doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. The story,
Right,
all the stories seem to be the same. Like every story that he's giving is the same story. It shouldn't be no reason. Shouldn't be the because these are black men. You guys are not investigating. It shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be of color. It should be the fact that we're all human and we all deserve
right,
the right justice. And
right. And that's why I wanted
I
you
don't
to
know.
definitely go ahead. I'm sorry.
uh, with all this and trying to get past all this whole situation, like it bugs me. I talked to Letitia, which is Gamel Moore's mom. I talk to
Hmm.
her probably every other periodically. We keep in contact. Like it bugs me because the day that I seen the second body, I really wasn't paying attention to the TV, and my grandmother and my auntie, they were watching the news, and they were like, some Ed Buck, they found another body in his. I stopped. I said, Ed Buck, what? Hold on. What do you mean they found another body? And once she pulled it up, I just started crying, and she's like, "What's wrong?" She didn't know the situation, so I had to break it down to my grandmother and let her know, like, this is what happened. Da 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 da
So
da.
how are you doing
And
emotionally? How are you doing emotionally, dealing with this? Because I
mentally,
know it has to
mentally,
be
I'm going like
traumatizing.
mentally, I'm fucked up because it's to the point where I received threats. I have received threats through Adam for Adams. Somebody from California had found me on Adam for Adam, and their name was Party Time. So I knew it was a fake. I was like, I believe it. I honestly believe it was Ed Buck trying to get in contact with me, letting me know that he knows the situation, what's going on, and what was said was they were going to be in New York in a couple weeks in the new year of 2019, and they wanted to hang out with me personally. So
Right.
when that message came through, I called my auntie. My auntie said, shut down your site. She said, delete all the gay apps you got. I deleted them. And then it was like it was shutting me down pretty much. I was starting to shut down. I started to get depressed. I've been depressed. I had literally wrote a suicide letter to my mom that I was
Wow.
contemplating on sending because I've been to the point where I feel alone out here. I feel like I have nobody. I'm out here in New York. My mom's in Arizona. My family's in Minnesota. They're out there. They're that way. I'm way out here because I'm trying to keep my distance. I'm trying to keep a good mile away from this man that done fucked me up even more because now not only am I sketchy and iffy on people I meet, I put this block up. I can't trust no one. I don't trust anybody. I'm literally a
Right.
loner in this world. I'm in New York and I'm stressed. I'm dealing with my own mental illness. I'm dealing with that. On that, I have flashbacks. I have dreams. I see, like, I go through my withdrawals and my emotions and trying to stay recovered or sober.
Right. Well,
It's
you have
not
a lot of
easy.
support on this live. people really are paying attention to what you're saying and they believe you. They're saying that they stand with you. Um, and definitely, we're here for you. We definitely don't want you to feel like you're alone, and don't want you to, feel like you have to take your life, because you don't. And definitely, as Mallory Thornton is just saying, don't try not to say that on social media, because there are repercussions for that. You don't want that, anything. We don't want anything to happen to you. Um, Now, for everybody that has, tuned in and listened to Terrell's story, I implore you to listen to your hearts regarding him. And I've also posted his GoFundMe. He's trying to get home, Felicia. I posted his GoFundMe in the description, so that we can reach out and we can help him as a community. We also don't want Ed Buck to feel like Terrell is alone, and because he's alone and because he has no support from our community, that he can just run over our brother and do what he wants to him. So we want to support him. We want to let him know that we acknowledge his pain and his trauma, and we're here for him. And so if you guys can help him, that will be great. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, but I felt like this was a story that needed to be told. It's reminiscent, and I told Terrell this earlier. It's reminiscent of the Jeffrey Dahmer situation, where Jeffrey was isolating these young black men, and some of them, a couple of them were older black men, and he was, of course, dismembering their body, cooking their bodies, and eating their bodies. And we know, we don't have any evidence of Ed doing that, but we do have evidence of him taking advantage of the fact that he knows that if he kills a black man, it will not be investigated as thoroughly as a white man's death, or it'll not be investigated at all. So we've got to put a stop to this. We've also got to put a stop. We've got to put pressure on North Hollywood Police Department and those detectives to complete a thorough investigation. There is no way within a 2-year time frame that two black men come up dead in your freaking apartment and nothing is done about it. So,
You're still out here.
You said what?
You're still out here doing the same. You're out here still doing
Right.
the same thing. You're
Right.
actually. You haven't even.
Right.
You haven't took a break. They haven't shut down this apartment. They haven't searched this apartment. They haven't seized no property. They have not went in and did anything. I know exactly. There's flashlights. I done. It disgusts me. It just frustrates me. That's what makes me so much angry. That's why I don't want to be on this earth. Is because the fact I done gave you the evidence. I done put
Well, here's the
a
thing.
case in your hand, gave you the proof. Then
We're-
put my
we're-
proof. I have proof in the pudding.
Right.
I
And
done
we're here
told
to
you
help
literally.
you.
I done
You
called.
know,
I done even personally called the detectives and gave them information on locations and where these things are located and how they're discreet and such forth. I done left messages with these people, and still there's nothing being done. It is really frustrating. Yeah, I'm trying to stay strong and stay positive and look out for the best interests of the whole situation, but at the same time, when I think about it, it pisses me off. It gets me to the point where what the
it
fuck?
should.
They're not gonna do anything. What can we do? We can't keep trying to stand up and we're not getting nowhere. Where
Well,
does
the
it work
thing,
in the justice system?
right. And so the thing about the justice system and fighting systematic Caucasian oppression is that, and I've experienced this over and over again, where I've stood up for a cause by myself and I wanted everybody to stand up with me. And because I stood up by myself, I had no effect. And so what I'm trying to say to you is that there's strength in numbers. And that's why we're doing this live. Because if we can get more people on board, and I am going to connect you with more people, we can get more people on board to push for an indictment and push for Ed Buckley to be charged, then we can
I have been
definitely.
contacting him. I have been calling him. I call him
Okay.
all the time. Any chance I get and his phone rings, I will call him until it'll ring and ring until he answers or it goes to voicemail. I leave messages.
And what type
And
of
the reason
messages
why
do
I
you
do this,
leave?
I have told Letitia, which is Gamel Moore's mom, I had told her I will put myself back in that situation. just to make sure this man gets what he deserves, gets what he need, he has coming to him. Because there's no way you already put me in, you already fucked me up. So I already know what to expect. I know what to pay attention to. So I
Well,
wouldn't mind. This lady done lost her son and then had to relive the situation again.
right.
So it
And
bothers me because
we're listen.
I'm a actually genuine person and I care. And it doesn't, I don't know.
Well, here's the
It
thing. We're here to support you. I'm going to tell you right now, I care about you and I would not have you put yourself back in that situation at all. What he needs, what Ed needs, Ed Buckley needs to know that the community is coming together from all over the world, from all 50 states, to put him in his rightful place, which is prison. All right. So he needs
Mhm.
to know that. And we're going to get together after this. And we're also, again, like I said, I'm going to connect you with some people who can get your story out there and get you more exposure, because the more exposure that we give you, the more light is shined on what Ed Buckley has been getting away with. And this is a man, of course, we know he's connected. I read that he gave, $53,000 to the Hillary Clinton campaign, along with lots of money to other campaigns. So we know he's connected. But I believe that the people, and I believe that there's strength in numbers. I think that we can definitely affect change if we put the pressure on him. We've got to apply the pressure. What I want you to do is I want you to stay calm, because we're going to need you in this fight. Like, we need you to be
Yeah.
calm. We need you to be strong. We need you to be able to go before a grand jury and tell your story, right?
Hmm.
You don't, if you're gone,
Yeah.
who's going to testify as to what he did? The dead need you to speak for them. You know what I mean? Like, Mr. Moore
Hmm.
isn't here anymore. He can't speak. So what we don't want you to do is to, do
Let,
something that is going to cause the whole case to crumble. So this man needs to be in jail, like Christine just said, in jail for the rest of his natural life. All right,
yeah.
and we're gonna help put him there, and we're
Hmm.
gonna we're gonna be the voice of the victim, and you're going to be the main voice of the victim because you're a survivor. You survived
And
it.
I I'm going to make it to California. I actually do want to come out there because I do want to go to one of these protests, to the point where I want to be like front and center at the office, at the jailhouse or the courthouse, whatever. I want to be there because I was the one that was on the news. I was the one that put this man out there and gave my story. So I know what's going on. I want these
Right.
people. I really, it's to the point where it's like something that like it's a need that I need. I need to tell
Right.
these people, and I
Right.
want them to know. Maybe if they hear it out of my mouth, straight from my mouth, they would
Hmm.
get, maybe God would give them a spirit, a tap. Like, this is real. This ain't a joke. This is something that really needs to be investigated. Something needs to be done about this. And
Absolutely.
I just feel like I really need to come to
Absolutely.
California and show my face and let them know
And
that
you
no,
and
he hasn't
if
shut
you're
me down, and I'm
if
not.
you're going to do that, if you decide to do that, you need to let me know so that I can call on our brothers and our comrades out in California to offer you protection, to be with you wherever
Okay.
you go, because we're definitely going to need that. But I want
Yeah.
you to definitely, to be safe. Everybody, no, Mallory, he does not want to kill himself. He wants to live so that he can, definitely affect change and get justice for these victims. So,
Yes.
definitely that. And so, what I want everybody on this live to do, if you're able to do, is, in the description. His GoFundMe is in the description, and if you guys can, donate to him, or just show some type of support, that would be very helpful. Okay. All right. So, Terrell, we're gonna speak with you soon. Hopefully, we'll follow up with you sometime next week, and I'll keep the people posted. And so, if you'll just say that you love yourself, go ahead,
I love me, myself, and
and say that you want to live because you do.
I am going to survive. I'm going to make it through it.
That's right.
With
That's
God,
right.
if with God anything is possible. I made it through
That's
that
right.
situation, so I'm gonna make it
Mhm.
through this one. Ain't nothing, ain't no devil, especially
Absolutely.
no white devil, gonna hold me down.
A- Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad, I'm pleased to have met you. And we do have some donors on here that said that they're going to go ahead and give to your GoFundMe campaign. So I want you to, be encouraged. And I'll go ahead and end this live now, but I'm going to talk to you offline. Peace and power, everybody.
All right. Love you, best friend. Thank y'all. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.